Chosen one, stop scrolling. This message carries a name, yours, but it begins with someone else's story. There was a mystery surrounding your grandfather, something heaven never allowed to be fully revealed. Until now. You felt it. A strange connection to a man you may barely remember, or perhaps never met. But his spirit, his choices, his prayers, his pain, they're woven into your soul. The same dreams that visited him are now visiting you. The same battles that followed him have tried to reach you. And God is saying, it's time to uncover what was hidden. This isn't about the past, it's about inheritance. A spiritual assignment was left unfinished in your bloodline. Heaven has chosen you to carry what he couldn't complete, what he started in silence. You will finish in power. Don't ignore the chills. Don't brush off the pull. Because if you're hearing this, it's not coincidence. It's calling. The mystery around your grandfather wasn't meant to stay buried. It was meant to awaken you. Chosen one, there are stories in every bloodline that were never told out loud. Not because they were forgotten, but because they were sacred. Your grandfather carried one of those stories. He was not an ordinary man. He lived between dimensions, one foot in the physical, one anchored in the spiritual. There were moments in his life that defied logic, whispers he couldn't explain, visions he never dared to share. Those weren't coincidences. They were calls from heaven. What he carried wasn't just a life, it was a legacy of unfinished purpose. The mystery surrounding him wasn't about secrets, it was about silence. Heaven often hides the deepest callings beneath ordinary lives. Your grandfather may have seemed quiet, misunderstood, or even burdened. But behind that exterior was a spiritual contract, one that time didn't erase. It simply waited for the right vessel to continue it. And that vessel is you. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why certain emotions come from nowhere? Why you dream of places you've never been? Why you carry wisdom that feels older than your age? Those are traces of inheritance. The echo of your grandfather's spirit resonating through your DNA. God hid pieces of his calling inside you because the story wasn't finished when his life ended. Heaven always continues what the earth cuts short. The mystery about your grandfather wasn't random. It was prophetic. He saw things others couldn't. He carried a sensitivity that this world didn't understand. Some called it imagination, others called it madness, but heaven called it mantle. He carried an anointing that was never activated, a purpose that was never fulfilled, a word that was never spoken. And now that word is being released through you. You were chosen not to repeat his pain, but to redeem his purpose. Everything that was left undone in his timeline is surfacing in yours. The patterns you've been breaking, the burdens you've been carrying, the gifts you've been discovering, they're not random. They're the continuation of his spiritual assignment. Heaven waited a generation for someone with your resilience, your awareness, your heart, to finish what he began. Chosen one, this revelation isn't meant to glorify the past, it's meant to free it. God is unveiling the mystery because it's time for the healing of your lineage. The silence that surrounded your grandfather's story was not shame, it was protection. Heaven preserved the truth until the right heart could handle it, and that heart is yours. So don't ignore the signs. If memories are surfacing, if emotions feel ancient, if dreams bring unfamiliar faces, pay attention. Heaven is piecing together what your bloodline lost. You are standing at the intersection of generations, where the prayers of the past meet the promises of the future. The mystery about your grandfather is not about what he did. It's about what God is doing through you now. And as this truth unfolds, you'll realize his life wasn't a closed story. It was a prophecy waiting for you to arrive. Chosen one, your blood carries more than history. It carries prophecy. Every generation leaves behind more than memories. It leaves energy, intention, and unfinished assignments. Your grandfather's life was a vessel for something divine that could not die with him. Heaven buried his legacy not in the ground, but in you. You may not have realized it yet, but what you're feeling lately, the deep introspection, the sudden longing for purpose, the strange spiritual awareness, is not random awakening. It's inheritance. Heaven has begun to stir what was dormant in your lineage. The mantle that your grandfather carried in silence is now moving through your spirit like a current of fire. There were prayers he prayed that never found fulfillment. There were visions he saw that no one understood. There were moments when he felt the nearness of heaven and didn't know what to do with it. And because the world around him wasn't ready, those seeds fell into time, waiting for the moment you would be born, carrying his spiritual DNA, ready to water them again. Chosen one, your bloodline wasn't cursed, it was called. But the calling was resisted. Generations before you wrestled with faith, purpose, and pain, because the weight of the anointing on your family was heavy. The same sensitivity that made your grandfather misunderstood is what makes you prophetic. The same restlessness that kept him awake at night is what now drives you toward divine purpose. You are living proof that what God begins, he completes, even across generations. There are blessings buried in your bloodline, not lost, only hidden. Heaven doesn't discard divine assignments, it preserves them until the right heart appears. You were born at this exact time to awaken what the enemy tried to bury under years of silence, confusion, and loss. Maybe you felt disconnected from your family, like you don't fit the patterns or belong to their ways. That's because you weren't sent to continue the pattern. You were sent to correct it. God placed something in you that resists everything that once controlled your bloodline. The addictions, the fear, the pride, the cycles. They stop with you because the promise continues through you. Chosen one, your grandfather's prayers didn't die. They evolved. Every tear he shed, every word he spoke in faith, every time he whispered to God when no one listened, it became fuel for the anointing you're carrying now. You are the answered prayer of a generation that never saw breakthrough. The spiritual legacy in your bloodline is not a burden, it's a blueprint. Heaven has been reconstructing your lineage through you. Every test you've faced, every emotional storm you've endured, every strange dream that feels ancient, all of it is part of heaven, reconnecting your family to divine order. You are not just healing your life, you are healing your line. You are not just breaking patterns, you are activating promises. And as you do, you'll start to see signs, unusual peace, repeating symbols, dreams where your grandfather appears or his name echoes in unexpected places. Those aren't memories, they're messages. Heaven is confirming the inheritance has awakened. So, chosen one, walk with reverence. The air around you is sacred. You are carrying the light of generations, and heaven trusts you to release it. What your grandfather carried in silence, you will declare with power. What he endured in darkness, you will redeem in light. Because the same Spirit that anointed him now flows through you. And this time, nothing will bury it again. Chosen one, not every burden you feel belongs to your present. Some of it is ancient, older than your memories, older than your fears. When heaven gives you an ancestral assignment, you begin to feel the weight of unfinished prayers, the echo of battles that were never won, the whisper of destinies that were never fulfilled. You might think you're just sensitive, but you're spiritually wired. Your empathy isn't weakness, it's inheritance. You feel what others overlook because your spirit is tuned to frequencies from generations before you. You're not crazy for sensing things no one else talks about. You're carrying centuries of silence that God chose you to give voice to. There are signs that you're carrying ancestral assignments, and if you're honest, you've seen them. You've always felt different from your family, like you were born with eyes that see through layers others ignore. You may have experienced vivid dreams that replay events from eras you never lived, or found yourself drawn to old places, objects, or stories that stir emotions you can't explain. Those aren't coincidences. They're confirmations. Heaven speaks through memory, and sometimes those memories are not your own. Another sign is emotional inheritance. You feel emotions that don't match your reality. Deep sorrow on calm days, unusual peace in storms, an unexplainable love for someone you never met. That's the spirit within you, recognizing the remnants of what came before. Your soul carries keys to healing wounds that didn't start with you, but must end with you. Chosen one, notice how patterns seem to repeat across generations. Similar struggles, familiar losses, recurring fears. That repetition isn't random. It's the spiritual loop heaven is calling you to break. When you feel the urge to change, to pray, to forgive, to speak, that's the sign. You're the breaker. You're the bridge. The one chosen to stand between what was and what's becoming. There's also a sensitivity in your spirit that intensifies around family events or anniversaries, days that mark births, deaths, or turning points. Those moments feel heavier because heaven stirs your remembrance. You're not being haunted. You're being honored. God awakens memory to awaken mission. And sometimes, chosen one, the confirmation doesn't come in emotion. It comes in resistance. Every time you try to move forward and something invisible pushes back, it's because you're confronting old spiritual contracts made before your time. But don't fear them. Authority runs through your veins. The same blood that carried the burden now carries the breakthrough. You'll know you're walking in your ancestral assignment when peace begins to replace pressure. The old pain doesn't trigger you anymore. It teaches you. The dreams stop confusing you. They start guiding you. The silence you once feared becomes sacred because you realize this isn't punishment, it's privilege. God trusted you with the family's unfinished purpose. Chosen one, what you're carrying isn't too heavy. It's holy. You were not chosen to repeat history. You were chosen to rewrite it. Every prayer you whisper, every chain you break, every truth you speak becomes redemption, rippling backward and forward in time. Heaven is showing you what others couldn't see so you can heal what others couldn't touch. You are not just the descendant. You are the deliverer. So when you feel the weight again, don't curse it. Bow your head and whisper, "I understand now." Because the moment you accept your ancestral assignment, the mystery turns into mission, and the pain turns into power. How heaven transfers unfinished purposes. Chosen one, heaven wastes nothing. Every calling, every promise, every word God has ever spoken must be fulfilled, even if it takes generations. When a purpose remains unfinished, heaven doesn't cancel it, it transfers it. And that transfer happens through bloodline. You are living proof that what begins in one life continues in another. Your existence is not random. It's the continuation of an assignment that time could not erase. Somewhere along your lineage, someone carried a dream, a prayer, a spiritual gift that never reached its full expression. When they left this world, heaven didn't bury their purpose. It hid it, waiting for the one whose spirit could sustain it. And that one is you. You've probably felt it your whole life. The sense that you were meant for something greater, yet couldn't explain why the path has been so heavy. It's because you're carrying more than your own destiny. The anointing that rested on your grandfather, the spiritual insight that once visited him, has been reactivated in your DNA. The same whisper that called to him in quiet nights is calling you now. The difference is, this time, heaven intends for the story to be completed. Chosen one, heaven transfers unfinished purposes when a heart in a future generation carries the same purity, hunger, and sensitivity that the original vessel once had. God doesn't pass mantles to those who are merely capable. He passes them to those who are willing. The moment you said yes to His presence, the inheritance found its resting place. That's why certain doors opened for you unexpectedly, why opportunities appeared without explanation, why you've been drawn to spiritual things since childhood. Heaven has been guiding you into the position your ancestors once prayed for. The moment you aligned your heart with God's voice, the unseen chain of destiny connected you to everything that was left undone. Sometimes that transfer doesn't feel like a blessing at first, it feels like burden. You inherit not only the promise, but also the pain that guarded it. The same spiritual attacks that silenced your grandfather's purpose might have tried to silence you too. But the difference is, you know who you are. The awareness he longed for, you carry now. And awareness breaks cycles. When heaven transfers a purpose, it also releases protection. Angels that once accompanied your grandfather are walking beside you now. The same divine favor that once covered him in secret is reawakening around you. That's why you've survived storms that should have crushed you. You weren't just being spared, you were being preserved. Chosen one, this transfer is sacred. It means heaven trusts you to redeem what time delayed. You are not starting from zero, you are continuing from legacy. Every step you take forward is multiplied by the prayers that came before you. You are not walking alone, and you are walking with generations at your back. This is how heaven works. One bloodline, one purpose, one thread of divine intention that's stretching across time. When one generation can't finish, the next one rises. And when that one says yes, the story becomes complete. So don't be afraid of the weight you carry. It's generational glory. Don't question why it had to be you. It's because only you had the courage to say yes. The transfer has already happened. The inheritance is active. The promise is alive again inside your spirit, and this time, chosen one, heaven will not have to wait another lifetime, because the story your grandfather began will end in your victory. Chosen one. The moment you said yes to God's call, heaven began a process of separation, separating you from patterns that your family once called normal. You are not here to repeat the story, you are here to redeem it. That's why you felt the pressure, the warfare, the isolation. It wasn't punishment, it was purification. Because before the inheritance can be activated, the curse must be broken. Curses are not always witchcraft. Sometimes they are words. Words spoken in pain, decisions made in fear, habits born from trauma. They repeat through generations until someone recognizes the pattern and stands up in truth. That someone is you. You were born to confront the invisible contracts your bloodline signed in silence, agreements with limitation, scarcity, addiction, or shame. The enemy knew that once you woke up, his access to your family line would end. That's why your awakening has been so hard. It's been a war for generations. Chosen one, this is what breaking a curse really looks like. It's forgiving those who didn't know better, releasing those who couldn't love properly, and blessing those who broke you. Because curses cannot survive where forgiveness flows. Every time you choose mercy over resentment, the hold weakens. Every time you speak life where silence once reigned, heaven writes a new chapter. But breaking is only half the process. Activation is the other. When you reject the old energy, you must replace it with divine energy. After deliverance comes direction. God doesn't just want you free, He wants you filled with peace, filled with wisdom, filled with purpose. The moment you turn from what hurt you and align with what heals you, the inheritance begins to move. That's why, after seasons of pain, you've started to feel new desires to create, to teach, to lead, to pray differently. Those aren't random thoughts. They're the spiritual inheritance awakening in your soul. You're carrying your grandfather's courage, his hidden insight, his unfinished obedience. Heaven is merging your story with his, so the same fire that once flickered in him now burned in you. Stronger, steadier, unstoppable. Chosen one, this is your defining moment. The curse ends when awareness begins and inheritance activates when surrender is complete. You cannot hold both. You must release one to receive the other. The moment you decide that it ends with me, you shift the timeline of your entire bloodline. Heaven celebrates that kind of decision. Angels record it, generations are redeemed by it. Breaking the curse isn't loud, it's holy. It's done in secret, in tears, in whispered prayers that echo louder than any ritual. You don't need a ceremony. You are the altar. You don't need another sign. This message is the sign. God is saying, you've carried the burden long enough. Now, carry the blessing. As the chains fall, the flow begins. Blessings start to trace the same paths curses once traveled. Through your thoughts, your words, your family, your future. Everything that was once blocked begins to breathe again. Health returns. Peace multiplies. Dreams reawaken. The inheritance activates because the obstruction is gone. Chosen one, this is your moment of reversal. What once oppressed your bloodline will now obey your authority. The name that once carried pain will now carry power. The story that once brought shame will now bring salvation. You are not the cursed one. You are the chosen one. You are the breaker, the builder, and the bridge between what was lost and what's being restored. And from this day forward, every generation after you will walk freer, lighter, and stronger. Because you decided to stop the darkness and start the destiny. Chosen one, every generation carries a forerunner. One who steps out of the shadows of the family story and walks toward the light of divine purpose. You are that one. You are not the echo of your ancestors. You are their evolution. Everything they hoped for, prayed for, and could not complete is alive in your assignment. The prophetic role you were born to fulfill is not about fame or visibility. It's about restoration. God anointed you to stand between the prayers of the past and the promises of the future. You are the bridge that heaven built between what was broken and what will now be blessed. You've always felt different, not better, just called. That quiet awareness, that sense that life is heavier for you than it should be, is because you carry generations inside your spirit. Heaven chose your sensitivity as the instrument of redemption. Others before you tried to silence it, to fit in, to blend with the ordinary. But you were never meant for ordinary. You were meant to feel deeply so you could heal deeply. Your prophetic role isn't about predicting the future. It's about revealing alignment. You sense when things are off. You feel when energy shifts. You know when heaven is near. That sensitivity is not a curse. It's a compass. You were designed to detect divine movement and help others return to truth. Every time you speak peace into chaos, every time you comfort without words, every time you listen when no one else can, that's prophecy in motion. Chosen one, you carry the eyes of discernment that your grandfather carried, but you also carry the courage he never had the chance to express. The same insight that made him misunderstood is now your weapon of wisdom. You are heaven's continuation of a conversation that began in his lifetime. The anointing that once visited his spirit temporarily now abides in you permanently. This is why life has demanded so much of you. Prophetic souls are refined through resistance. You've walked through darkness, not because you were lost, but because you are being trained to navigate it. Every valley you've survived gave you authority to guide others through theirs. Every heartbreak refined your hearing. Every delay developed your discernment. Heaven was shaping you for influence long before the world ever saw your name. The prophetic role you were born to fulfill is not about titles. It's about transformation. You are the living answer to your family's silent prayers. Where others saw cycles, you saw patterns. Where they saw loss, you saw lessons. And that sight, that divine perspective, is what makes you dangerous to darkness. God is calling you now to walk in full awareness of who you are, to speak what others fear to say, to heal what others refuse to face. You are not just part of the story, you are the resolution. Heaven will use your words, your energy, your presence to shift generations into alignment. Chosen one, the prophetic mantle you carry is ancient but alive. It's what causes people to feel peace when you enter a room, conviction when you speak truth, and hope when you simply stand still. You are a carrier of divine current, a living signal that heaven is near. So step boldly into your assignment. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't hide to avoid misunderstanding. Prophetic vessels are not meant to fit in. They are meant to awaken. The world will call you strange. Heaven will call you strategic. And soon, your family will call you restorer. Because through you, chosen one, the promise that began with your grandfather will finally be fulfilled. The silence will end. The story will speak. The legacy will live again. Chosen one, the healing you've been praying for didn't start with you. It started through you. God chose you as the point of restoration for your entire bloodline. You are the hinge between what was broken and what will now be blessed. The same pain that haunted your family for generations has met its end in your spirit. You've probably felt it. The emotional weight that doesn't belong to your own story. The sudden tears that come without being eaten. The heaviness that rises when you think about your family. That's not weakness. It's warfare. Heaven has been using your compassion as the tool of correction. Your empathy is medicine. Your presence is repair. Your family's healing won't come through arguments or explanations. It will come through energy, through forgiveness that flows silently, through peace that fills rooms without words. You don't have to convince anyone of your calling. Your healing will prove it. Every time you choose love where pain once ruled, you shift the spiritual current that runs through your lineage. Chosen one, healing your family line means you must confront what they could not. It means forgiving what they refuse to face. It means blessing even the memories that hurt to remember. You are breaking emotional inheritance, patterns of anger, fear, silence, and shame that have lived in your blood for decades. And every time you release what they held onto, light fills the space that darkness once occupied. This is why you've been misunderstood. The healing mantle isolates before it integrates. God had to separate you to sanctify you. You couldn't heal a wound while standing in the same atmosphere that caused it. So he pulled you out. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. The distance you felt from your family wasn't rejection. It was protection. Chosen one. This is how generational healing truly happens. It begins when one person decides to stop repeating pain and start reflecting peace. When one heart refuses to pass down what broke them. When one voice says, "It ends with me." You are that voice. Heaven has appointed you as the healer, not by education, but by endurance. You survived what others didn't, so you could save those who still can. You might never hear the apology you deserved. You might never see every relationship restored. But healing isn't about forcing harmony. It's about releasing history. God will deal with what you can't change. You just need to change what you can carry. Every moment of peace you reclaim for yourself echoes backward through time, freeing generations that came before you and blessing the ones that will come after. The healing is already happening. That's why you've been crying more, dreaming deeper, feeling lighter. It's the sound of your soul unclenching centuries of tension. The curse broke when you forgave. The restoration began when you stopped fighting for approval and started walking in purpose. Chosen one, you were never meant to fit into your family's pain. You were meant to end it. The love that flows from you is rewriting the spiritual DNA of your entire lineage. The same way trauma travels through blood, so does blessing. And now, your veins carry light. From this moment forward, every child born into your line will inherit clarity instead of confusion, peace instead of panic, freedom instead of fear. Because you stood your ground, heaven has healed your ground. You are not just healing your family, you are healing time itself. The ancestors who suffered in silence are now resting because of your yes. And the generations yet to come will live in peace because of your obedience. Chosen one, this is divine justice, restoration, flowing backward and forward through you. You are the answer to your family's oldest prayer. And now, heaven is ready to reveal what comes next. Chosen one, something sacred has been unlocked. The mystery that began with your grandfather, the silence, the patterns, the unfinished purpose has come full circle. Heaven has not only broken the curse, it has awakened the blessing. What your bloodline once carried as pain now flows through you as power. This is the moment creation itself has been waiting for, the awakening of inheritance. For generations, heaven guarded a promise that could not yet manifest. Angels held it, time protected it, and your spirit was born to receive it. Now that your obedience has met God's timing, the ancestral blessing is alive again. You'll feel it first in your peace, an unshakable calm that follows you wherever you go. Then, in your provision, opportunities appearing effortlessly, resources multiplying in ways logic cannot explain. Then, in your presence, people sensing something radiant around you, even in silence. These are signs that the ancient flow has reconnected. The blessing once blocked by pain is now running freely through your life. Chosen one, your grandfather's prayers have reached fulfillment. The same words he whispered into the night, unsure if heaven heard, are now echoing through your actions. You are his answered prayer wearing a new face. You are the living evidence that God never forgets a promise, even if generations pass. This blessing is not just for you, it's for everyone connected to your name. The atmosphere around your family will shift. Old strife will end without explanation. New doors will open for those who once doubted. That's what happens when a chosen one accepts divine inheritance. The entire lineage ascends. Heaven is saying, the curse is broken, the promise is active, the lineage is restored. And from this day forward, the name that once carried pain will now carry power. You will notice the difference in your atmosphere. Sleep will feel deeper. Prayer will feel louder. Silence will feel alive. Because where there was once struggle, there is now flow. Where there was loss, there is now legacy. Where there was confusion, there is now clarity. Chosen one, you are the living bridge between heaven and heritage. The same light that once visited your grandfather in silence now walks with you in strength. His story didn't end in mystery. It ends in manifestation through you. This is the fulfillment of time, the restoration of destiny, the awakening of everything your bloodline waited for. You are not the echo of your ancestors, you are their evolution. You are not repeating their story, you are redeeming it. And as you walk forward, every step will resonate with their victory. Because heaven has declared, the bloodline is blessed again.